All right, so this video is going to be about my injury. Some other arm wrestlers have had this problem, and I'm sure others are going to have it in the future. So I figured I'd just discuss a little bit about how this has gone for me and what I found out along the way. So basically your bicep is connected with 3 tendons. You got 2 up here in the shoulder, and you got 1 that connects to the radius, which is one of your forearm bones. In my injury, the distal tendon, the lower one, tore. From my understanding, if one of these 2 tears, the surgeons most of the time won't even repair it, because you lose about 20% power, and over time the other one will compensate, and you can get back to, you know, mostly where you were. However, with the distal, your bicep rolls up, your bicep will just atrophy and you'll completely lose it. And then you're just dependent on your tricep, your shoulder, and your forearm. So for most healthy people, they're going to suggest that you get it repaired. It comes with a lot of different inherent risks, which you can read up on. But the main focus of what I'm going to discuss right now is that there are basically 4 different types of repair for this that I've seen. And they all have, you know, different gains and benefits. As somebody who arm wrestles and wants to continue to arm wrestle, wants to be able to get stronger in that area, not weaker, and not have to worry about it, there are going to be some methods that are going to be more important to go with than others. The old method that they used to do is they would take and basically put an anchor into the radius, so kind of like a ring, and then they would wrap the tendon around that, sew it, and then that heals. Problem with that is you're going to have a weak point there, either where it could get brittle because you got a foreign object going into your bone and it could pull out of that, or based on how they sew the tendon to that ring, you know, you could possibly have an issue. As things evolved, they changed that. They went to a double method for that, where they put 2 rings in there, and it's basically called the double anchor. And they method that way. And then there's a 3rd method where they do a double anchor, and then they do a button where they drill into the bone. They basically anchor it off those 2 anchors, and then they put the remainder of the tendon into the bone with a little button that they push it down in there, and that kind of heals. It's obviously going to be stronger in the first 2 ways, but still not ideal. The method I got done is basically they take and they make an incision, basically, as you can see right here, and they pull the tendon out onto the forearm, and then they make another incision, I don't know if you could see very well, right along here, and they kind of use a fish tool, fish it out here, come down to the radius, they drill 3 holes. 1 big hole that basically the tendon goes directly through the bone, and then the other 2 holes, once it goes through, they wrap it to the side of the bone, and then they basically take and sew the remaining amount of the tendon to the bone. And the 2 sutures that go through those other 2 holes are just mostly to hold it in place. Eventually that stuff will decay and atrophy and go away. While the one that goes through the main hole basically heals. But from my understanding, from my surgeon and everything that I've read, this is the newest method, it's the best method. When the bone actually heals, which takes 3 full months for it to fully heal. You're not supposed to put any more weight than about 5 or 10 pounds on your bicep. You don't want to overexert it. You don't want to do anything like that. Then once that heals, it's actually going to be as strong, if not stronger than before, because before it just sat on a little tiny bone that came off the side of the radius, and it just kind of adheres on top of it. And I guess typical for this injury is going to be somebody who's between like 55 and 70, or somebody in our sport, you know. Generally what causes this to happen is an exert of force fast. So in my case, I was doing pull-ups, and I had both arms like this, and I was kind of doing statics where I'd let go with one arm and kind of coming down. And I was actually on my left arm, and I was kind of slipping my pull-up bars behind this camera here, and it's pretty high. It's about 10 feet in the air. And as I was coming down, I was worried that I was going to fall, and so I threw my arm up to grab it. When I did, I fully extended. And when I did, I heard a pop and then another pop. Instantly, I knew what had happened. Very unhappy about it. But I'm going to discuss in later videos basically what I had done with my surgery, and you know, and how it differs from some of the others that I've seen done. I'm not going to go into that too much in this video. I can tell you that based on those 4 different repair methods that the surgeons can do, it determines how long you have to have certain things in place too. Some guys will have a full cast on their arm for up to a month afterwards. Right now I am at 11, 12 days, and I'm already into a robotic arm, which basically just limits how far I can extend my arm. And right now I'm working on basically my pronation. Got my supination pretty good, but my pronation is really poor. I probably only got about 50% at most out of it, but that's where I'm at. But anyways, I just wanted to kind of go over those. If anybody has any questions, you know, feel free to ask. That's what I'm here for. I want people to be, you know, especially if you just did this or you fear that you're going to do this in the future, going into it, have an idea of what to expect. Biggest thing is making sure that you get the right surgeon that's going to do the job, that's going to make it beneficial for you in the future. Last thing you want to do is get this done and then have it happen again or re-injure, you know. And there are athletes out there like Todd Hutchings. He's done it to both arms, and I've talked with him about it, and I'm not sure which method he got done, but he says he's stronger now than he was before. I'm pretty sure he got the same method done as me. But anyways, like I said, any questions, let me know.